What's up, everybody? So it's the end of 2024, and of course, it has been an awesome year for arm wrestling. So many crazy events, such great arm wrestling. But of course, I have my own favorite matches from throughout the year and just want to share them with you, just to compare to see which are the matches that we all enjoyed. And now I just want to take a little look back throughout the year and see which are my favorite top 5 matches from 2024. And these could be my favorite for a bunch of reasons, maybe because it was just an awesome match by itself, because of some things that it did for the arm wrestling community, or maybe just because of the pullers that appeared on the matches. Who knows? But this is just my own personal list. Please share with me your own personal list after watching this video in the comment section below. But at number 5, we have Jason, the Fine Wine Merlot versus Tom, the Lean Machine Holland at Knuckles Up 2. This was such an amazing match. The only reason it's ranked number 4 in my list of 1 to 5 is just because that, if memory serves me right, there was a lot of setup shenanigans, a lot of ready goes and resetting. The matches just didn't start quickly enough. I just wanted to see arm wrestling. But boy, when it got going, it really got going. Jason Merlot with his dragging sort of backwards top roll, not quite full top roll, and such a contrasting style with Tom Holland, who's just an all-in shoulder commitment kind of hook guy. There were points in the match where you would think that it would have gone definitely one way or the other. Some points in time, I thought Tom for sure was going to win, and then later Jason Merlot took it back and forth. Such an amazing arm wrestling, pure power between these two guys. Just wish that the matches had gotten going a little bit quicker. But wow, if you are an arm wrestling fan, you would definitely enjoy this piece of entertainment. Number 4, we have a match from AMC 7. So some of you guys may have forgotten, but there was actually a super match between Alan Zoloev versus Daniel Prokopchik from Moldova. And until that point in time, there was this sort of thought in the arm wrestling community where we thought that Alan Zoloev was just absolutely undefeatable in the 75 kilo class. He just seemed invincible up till then. We thought no one could beat him, and then wow, Daniel Prokopchik just comes rolling in, and not even with a hook, but with sort of a low hand top roll, and absolutely destroyed Alan Zoloev. We had never seen anything like that done before to Alan Zoloev, and that really threw a wrench in the 75 kilo scene. And that's sort of when things started to go crazy for the 75 kilo scene, because you had a lot of guys now in a conversation for 75 kilo number 1 plays. You have guys like Alan Zoloev, Daniel Prokopchik, Oleg Cherkasov, you have Mindaugas, you even have maybe Svetan Gashevsky in the conversation there. So many guys. This is absolutely my favorite class in all of arm wrestling. This between 75 to 80 kilo class, that is absolutely where I think the greatest depth of talent is in arm wrestling. And I like this match because it just showed how much talent there is in arm wrestling, how much entertainment there can be within the sport. Moving on to number 3, we have a left-handed match. Didn't expect that, did you guys? Well, we have Artem Morozov versus Ivan Matyushenko back at King of the Table 11. This was, I think it was for the world title match, not too sure. And this was Ivan Matyushenko as a 110, 115 kilo guy going up a weight class, going up to the supers.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
To face off against Morozov, and wow, he really gave a run for his money. Even in those first couple of matches, I kind of thought that Ivan Matyushenko could have gotten it. He actually, I think, arguably got a couple of pins over against Morozov, but his elbow, it just kept coming off the table, unfortunately for him. But I do think that, any other day, Ivan Matyushenko could have been the world champion on that day. But unfortunately, Artem Morozov, we all know him as an endurance monster, eventually managed to overcome the odds and defeated Ivan Matyushenko, who is a hook legend in his own right. And I love this match just because it featured left-handed arm wrestling and featured left-handed arm wrestling at a high level. Other than these two, probably another name that comes to mind, definitely, that has boosted the left-handed arm wrestling scene, the popularity of left-handed arm wrestling, is definitely Alijan Muratov, who later on also had a match with Ivan Matyshenko, who he won, but the match wasn't as close as this one. So I think this one was sort of the match that really, I think, started to get people more involved in the left-handed arm wrestling scene, arguably speaking. But yeah, I think that's why it really deserves a place in my list over here. And going on to number 2, we have a female match, Dimitrina Petrova from Bulgaria versus Ayane Takenaka. This one's a little bit biased just because there's Ayane there and I am from Asia. I really love it when there's Asian representation at the world stage. And not just because of that, not just because there's Asian representation, there's female representation, but also because of the impact that this match made on the arm wrestling scene, because this was not just a close match. To my recollection, it was a very controversial match because it really affected how the rules was interpreted for East versus West arm wrestling, because I think there were at certain points of times, a lot of people thought that Ayane really deserved to win this match against Dimitrina. But unfortunately, because of the way the rules were interpreted at the time, that was not Ayane's day. But I think that the arm wrestling community really saw that. They saw the passion, the power, the skill, the technique, everything from Ayane. I think they absolutely loved Ayane at the table against Dimitrina. Definitely a crowd favorite. And I think that this really showed the world that female arm wrestling is every bit as entertaining as male arm wrestling. You just have to get the right matches, the right ladies on the card, and I think we are on the cusp of really female arm wrestling blowing up, especially, recently we've been seeing more arm wrestling matches in the female category being really, really great. Gabrielle Vassar-Chalice versus Barbora recently. Definitely want to see more of these ladies on the cards in the future. And number 1, this one was just pure, unbridled arm wrestling, glorious, everything. I don't even have the words for this one, but it was David Samusha versus Nurdalit Ayderkan. I don't think a lot of people will argue with me that this was probably the best arm wrestling match of the year. This was probably the closest we saw David Samusha coming to losing. He really was right on the cusp of it against Nurdalit. Nurdalit had such a good lane against David Samusha, especially when he really managed to take his wrist back. And it is really something that we don't see often. Nurdalit is the type of guy who can top roll and still maintain, his endurance later into the game. A lot of top rollers, what they suffer from is that when their pronator starts to gas out, they start to be less and less effective as the rounds go on. Not Nurdalit. He can just top roll for days. He can still keep going against David Samusha. And really, it was neck and neck. It really was an absolute grinder. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire show for this match. And wow, absolutely. If you only have to watch one match as someone first coming into arm wrestling, this is the match you want to watch if it's coming from this year, 2024. David Samusha versus Nurdalit Ayderkan. Absolute masterclass of arm wrestling. Absolute arm wrestling entertainment. And that is my list of my top 5 favorite arm wrestling matches from 2024. Please feel free to share with me your list down in the comments below. It's Greg, and I'll see you guys in 2025.